just like you guys believed in us even when, I think for me, Jeremy's very confident. I didn't believe in myself. So for her to come alongside and say, you got this. Like, I believe in you. I'll help you get to that level. Or not even to that level, but I'll help you. It means like the world to me.
We've had literally people from every walks of life at Jones in Fitness that you come as you are. Like, we don't care. And then we go back to the being genuine. We don't care if you were a former athlete, right, at the highest level, to a person that has nothing. You walk through the door, we treat everybody the same way. And literally, we have a scale of clients that would blow your mind of what they do, who they are, and what title they hold, to people that we would take care of and give them anything and everything that we had. So literally, that's when what you feel, that energy, that aura, as soon as you walk through our driveway, you're like, okay, I'm here, I'm accepted, and this is a family. Like, this is literally a family, and everybody chips in as part of that family.
Your body is your greatest asset. Take care of it, nurture it, and it will reward you with strength and vitality. On this episode of High Value Discussions, we are diving into the world of fitness and personal development with not just one, but two incredible guests who are revolutionizing the way we think about health and wellness. They are the power couple behind Jones in Fitness. My guests are transforming lives one workout at a time. With their innovative fitness programs and holistic approach to well-being, they've built a thriving community that goes beyond just physical fitness. In today's episode, we'll uncover their incredible journey from the challenges they faced to the triumphs they've celebrated. We'll learn about their unique fitness philosophy, get practical tips to elevate your own fitness and business journeys, and find out what fuels their passion for helping others. When it comes to the fitness and business space, this episode is packed with inspiration, expert insights, and actionable advice. These two are very important to me. They're a family, and they're leading by example in every facet possible. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor of mine to bring you Desiree Jones and Jeremy Jones.
Being next to you guys and being in your presence is so valuable to me. That's why every time I'm with you guys, I'm always smiling. I'm always energetic. I'm always like, dude, this is the best. But I think I told you guys this on the last podcast. There's like 3 types of people that I really, really respect. Parents, people who are married, and people who are business owners. You guys are all 3. Can you guys talk about that? What was the idea of you guys starting your business?
I feel like there was a few ideas, right? Coming from I was staying home. So finding my purpose, going through having babies and just feeling, the postpartum blues, all the things, and really finding myself through working out. So I knew that if I felt this good, I wanted to then help other people feel great about themselves. And then
Yeah, my wife's very modest, so like she talked about it, it's hard. So I'm in law enforcement. I'm working all the time. We decided when we first got together we wanted to have a big family. We had 3 kids, and things aren't always talked about where the mom has to bear a lot of the responsibilities, right? So when dad has to work, put food on the table, work those extra hours, the emotional part, being there for the kids, where's dad at? The kids are fighting. We got 3 girls, so they're fighting. She's there. So, sometimes as the dad, you want to be the provider and you miss some of those emotional things. So Des and I, before COVID, we kind of decided, we're like, hey, we're just sitting here drinking, being unhealthy. We turned our garage into a gym because we wouldn't afford it the opportunity with young kids to go to the gym for 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
And then come back. And then she goes for 2 hours. That's 4 hours in the day. Then what are we going to do with our kids? So Des was actually the one where I was kicking and screaming. She goes, hey, let's order this. Let's order this. Let's order this. I think we sat down on the couch and we ordered about $5,000 to $6,000 worth of equipment. And I was like, all right. Right?
He has to work more overtime.
Yeah. But there's one thing I would never tell her no. Anything she knows that, and she doesn't take advantage of it. But I go, when she really sat down and told me, because she's like conscious of everything, she goes, we need this. And then when we built it and we can wake up, open our kitchen door, walk outside and work out with the girls watching us, with the girls sitting there while we're working out doing those things, there's no excuse not to do it. So as she said, she did it, and then she kind of transformed all that stuff naturally, right? Where the postpartum, the stress of, me working a lot, all those stressors where it's like fitness, movement is a healer.
Yeah.
And then so she healed herself from within. I healed myself from within, and then stronger together we became. And then just like both of us, like our morals and values are always build ourselves up so we can give ourselves away. She goes, hey, I want other people to, and she started inviting the neighbors. She started inviting other people. Hey, come work out with me. Come do this. And then I think it really just spawned from that.
When you guys were talking about right now, when it comes to just like the traction, I personally know why you guys got all this traction, but in your guys' perspective, why do you guys think your business blew up so fast?
A lot of it is because of, I think, individually who we are as people, and hopefully nobody takes that as arrogant or anything, but who we are as people is allowed us to build these relationships within our small community and then the community abroad. And everybody was just like, oh, we're always here to support you. So once they stepped foot into what we were doing, and then they seen how genuine it was and how fun it was, and then how basically scripted it was towards each individual, they were hooked without even trying to do that. And our whole business model is, if you want to be here because it's part of the family. So we'll never force anybody to be here. And then once they step in, I'm telling you, we can't get people to leave, even though we don't want them to leave, right? And then it turns into an all day thing. But I think it was because of the strong community we are, and we're blessed for the family, the friends, and everybody that's invested in us for years. And then now we're kind of seeing the fruits of that labor, like, all together.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that we truly care about each person that comes through that garage, whether it's a 5-year-old little girl, a high school boy, a mom that, I can relate to, or, one of the mom's husbands, whatever it is. We genuinely care about each individual, and we want to help everyone bloom to the best version of themselves. And that's kind of that's another one of our mottos. And I with all my emails, that's what I sign. Like, I want to help you bloom into the best version of yourself. Everyone deserves it. Yeah. And we're so genuine, right? I am very modest.
Yeah.
I don't like to brag.
No, you should.
But we truly care about each individual that walks in that garage.
Yeah.
And we want to help everyone be the best version of themselves.
I know when we first talked about this on the other podcast, the word fear came out of all of our mouths. I mean, I would consider all of us very strong individuals, but I think fear is very natural. I think fear is actually keeps us on our toes. It keeps us sharp, keeps us aware. So I think being a little bit of scared, having a little bit of nerves is essential. When you guys first put it out there, when it was live, did you guys get kind of more like, okay, we're in it? Or did the fear grow, stay in the middle? What was that like?
I feel like for me, my fear was through the roof, right? He posted and I was like, what the fuck? You just posted? I'm very modest. I'm to myself. I like to keep things very private between him and I. And I was nervous, but it was also like I needed that push. I needed that Band-Aid to be ripped off, and I needed to go head first. And it's the best thing.
Yeah. And even what about you, Jeremy?
And when we first started, the difference between fear, right? Like when you're by yourself, that fear, you only have yourself to count on. But then when you're going into something with somebody that you love, do anything for, right? And this is my wife. Like I'll lay my life down on the line for her 12 times over. But when we were doing it together, it was a sense of like pride. And then you get in there and as you know, it's like walking through those cage doors. When you see those cage doors, you're like, oh, do I really want to do this? Now everybody's here. And then as soon as you walk through those cage doors, it's like, we're here. And people might be like the comparison, but when we're setting up in the morning, we're talking about workouts at night. Like, what are we going to do? This person's coming. Oh my God, can we do this? Can we do that? And then the first person drives up and parks and doesn't get out of the car. And we're looking at each other like, is the music right? Here they come. Is the conversation right? Is there water? Is the clock, like, is the timer set?
Yeah.
And then they walk in and they're like, hey. And then we're like, all right, now it's time. We got it, right?
Yeah.
So it's all that experience for both of us collectively and then individually. Where me, I'm like, all right, I'm that type A personality because, law enforcement, past career, where Des is like, okay, can I do this? Will I do this? And every time she outshines it, right? So it's like together we're stronger. And then we keep dropping these models. But that's our motto when we sat down together for Jones and Fitness, stronger together.
And you guys too, you guys known each other when it comes to being married, right? And being each other, like you guys are also parents. What have you guys learned when it comes to each other about being entrepreneurs and business owners?
I think we can look across and see each other. So when it comes from the actual performing workouts, right? When somebody's stumbling, maybe I'm stumbling over my words while I'm explaining something or putting a workout together that, might not be the best. Like Des will look at me and she can read my body language and see, and then she steps in, right? Same thing with her when something might not be going right or like the equipment might fail or something like that. I could step in right away. And so we can play this like 2-man kind of basketball game. And then being business owners, I think it's different for us. Like most of the gyms, like, I've been a part of or been at or researched and done, it's all kind of profit driven. For us, it's not about profit. Like, I have a successful job or like career in law enforcement that can provide, that can take care of a family. This is about like passion. And, you hear a lot of people say that, and literally we don't have to. We can close the gym down tomorrow and be financially set and fine. Yeah. But what would be missing is all those connections, all that stuff. So it's our business, like kind of entrepreneurial mindset is not about profit. Profit will come when you're doing the right thing, right? There's a saying, do good, be good. And every time we do that, we're blessed to have people that entrust in us and come up to us 7 days a week, right? Yeah. Right? Just like you do. As soon as we're sitting here, like you said, this is your platform and everything, but hopefully when we walk away from here, you're going to be fulfilled with the energy we gave you, right?
Already.
Right? But
Right.
And we get a daily dose of that.
Yeah, I feel like our profit is every customer walking through our door. Everyone brings something, right? And it's really sweet to sit back and see the community that we've built, because every person has built such a sweet connection. I mean, one of my girlfriends today, she's like, hey, Santa Cruz or 17 was closed. I had to go to Cassie's where they made a connection at mommy time. That is everything. That's my profit. I wake up every day to see these faces, these beautiful faces, and they bring us so much life. I honestly can't ask for more. It makes me emotional. Yeah. They're amazing people.
All of them. It's literally, and some of the guys at work, they're like, oh my God, I see your videos. There's so many moms working out. And I'm like, they're like, they're like, do you feel weird? I'm like, to be honest with you, it's literally like gaining, I don't know, 30 to 50 sisters. Right. And then we talk like, this is our conversation at night. Like we look like one of our neighbors across the street, Tiffany, like she was working out, she was running, she was doing all this stuff, and then she jumped into like weightlifting the time. She looks amazing. Like, and I get to like, as a neighbor across the street, right? And her husband's right there. He works out with us. I go, Tiffany, you look amazing. I can tell. I can see it in your arms. Do you feel? And she's like, I feel great.
Yeah.
Right. And then, you know, I was telling the story at work, and they're like, oh, you just told another man's wife, like, they look amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
And they go, hey, maybe I should sign up and we should come, because I go, but that's the relationship, right? So then when they are pushing everything they have, when they're exhausted, when they don't want to be there, and you tell them like, one more rep, you whisper to them, you can, you will, and you're going to, because we're here. You're already here.
Yeah.
Why not? And then you see the results, and then that's what it is. So it's amazing for me, right? I can, you know, I see the videos all the time. I see that all the women come in consistently. This has been since January?
No, November.
Yeah, November.
Was it overwhelming how much traction was coming over and over at such a fast pace? Or was it kind of like it was 2 coming in, then like the next couple weeks it was 3, 4, 5. But I feel like it was just all happening so fast. But did you guys get like overwhelmed at all?
No, I feel like it was more exciting, if anything. And we have one, I mean, she's their family's our dear friend. Jenna, she came in to one of our weekend workouts, just like you did, before we even like thought about launching.
Yeah.
She's like, girl, you got this. You can get a bunch of moms together. And she's really the pushing force that made me believe in myself and like, damn, you're right. We can do this. And she rallied moms. And really, I sent her, hey, here's a list of names. What do you think? We picked Mommy Time. And from there, it's just grown, right? And not only Mommy Time, Jeremy's BAB, all of the things with all of these kids. It's been amazing. And I feel like it's exciting, at least for me.
It was exciting. And like when we first started, Jones in Fitness was it, because we were sitting there, COVID, like, okay, hey, we just want to put a cool, you know, sticker on the wall. What are we going to do? And we're like, we're Jonesin', right? Like we're Jones, that's our last name. And then we're like, we're Jonesin' to get in shape. And then we're like, I was like, oh shit, Jones in, like no vacancies, like anybody's always welcome. We accept everybody. Jones in Fitness. And then from there, it went like, hey, we're just going to do Saturday, Sunday service, right? People that want to come here and get their blessings from us.
Yeah.
And then she talks about the Eagers and Jenna and Thomas Eager, but you know, he's a high level Division I baseball coach. And then he came with his wife to work out, and we were like, it's a couple things. And we put him through the ringer, and we were like, if you are like exhausted, and he was a former, you know, MLB pitcher, right? And then we're like, we got this. And then his wife, we had modifications for his wife, and it was a family thing. His kids were jumping around, playing with our kids. We have daycare on site, right? And you can bring your kids, so there's no excuse. And then we looked at it, and they were like, we believe in you. And they were like, I have 5 moms that will sign up right now. Well, those 5 moms had 3 moms. We never went on and said anything. And then when all these moms like showed up, we were like, I guess we're doing it. I guess I mean, this is it.
Well, and you said something. Well, let's get this straight. Jenna doesn't need no modifications because she's beast mode.
Yeah.
She holds the record on the
Echo bike.
The Echo bike.
Oh, geez, I hate that thing.
Yeah. But he said, believe in you. And it makes me so emotional because they do. And they, just like you guys believed in us even when, I think for me, Jeremy's very confident. I didn't believe in myself. So for her to come alongside and say, you know, you got this. Like, I believe in you. I'll help you get to that level. Or not even to that level, but I'll help you. It means like the world to me. So.
And it has, right? And so we've had literally people from every walks of life at Jones in Fitness that you come as you are. Like, we don't care. And then we go back to the being genuine. We don't care if you were a former athlete, right, at the highest level, to a person that has nothing. You walk through the door, we treat everybody the same way. And literally, we have a scale of clients that would blow your mind of what they do, who they are, and what title they hold, to people that we would take care of and give them anything and everything that we had. So literally, that's when what you feel, that energy, that aura, as soon as you walk through our driveway, you're like, okay, I'm here, I'm accepted, and this is a family. Like, this is literally a family, and everybody chips in as part of that family. It might be a dysfunctional family. Like, you might have your
Hey,
dysfunctional
that's the
family
best.
outside, right?
Ooh, wait, what family is it?
Right? You have your dysfunctional family, but during that circuit, during that hour that you're with us, there's nothing but smiles, sweats, and hard work. And then everybody respects it. Everybody's cheering each other on. And then they walk away back to the real world. So it's kind of like Trollstis, right? Like trolls. We create this like happy environment that when they come, you know, this is it. I don't care. You leave all your problems at the door, right? Don't bring it here for an hour, and then you walk away. And then we're equipping you physically, emotionally, and mentally to handle whatever's coming there.
Well, I like what you guys have created, because that hour or 2 hours, that are the time frame that they're with you guys, their personal development is being enhanced. But even for you guys, with all the roles that you guys personally play, you guys are doing literally everything. How big of a priority is it for you guys to prioritize your personal development? Say you have to show up for Jeremy. Jeremy has to show up for you. You guys have daughters. You guys have to show up for them. Oh, wait, you guys have clients? Oh, wait, you guys have a business? You have to show up for that also. So your guys' personal development needs to always nearly be doing this. How often is that a priority, and what do you guys do to enhance it?
It's always when you're doing for others, right? It's always a lot easier than when you can do for yourself, right? If it's just for myself, I'm going to lay there, I'm going to be lazy, I'm going to take a nap. But if I know I have to wake up early, and then I get off of work, and then as soon as I get off of work, I got 10 minutes to change and then have this workout ready to go, and then do this until 7 o'clock at night, right? But then for us, it's still, instead of me being lazy and going to sleep, we communicate, we talk, we take our time, we talk about our day, especially with our kids. Our kids are involved in this. They know. They'll walk in and be like, Dad, you got workouts today? What are we doing?
I see them in the videos.
Right?
It's amazing, man.
So, and part of that was, right, adjust and adapt. So the BAB girls, which I didn't even think, like, I'm doing what every dad would do, right? When you have a son or a daughter, you're going to be the one at the park throwing the ball, doing all these things and working out. We have the gym right there. We have all the tools right there. So I'm doing this for everybody else. Then why can't I do it for my kids? Well, then guess what? We created BAB, and what BAB stands for is Bay Area Bred Athletics, right? At every level, from the crib all the way to the stadium. So now, anytime you go out, and then you'll realize this sooner than later, but it's like, Dad, can we invite this friend? Can I invite, Emma? Can I invite Kyla D? Can I invite my friends? Yeah, hey, babe, we're going to work out. Why don't you invite them to workouts? And then you make it fun for them to build confidence. They're doing something good in the comfort of our home, and they're working out. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. But Des and I were also talking about this because we're open 7 days a week, working a full-time job, being full-time parents, and our marriage, right? So we have to kind of put ourselves first. And at times instead of always saying yes, you have to say no. And that's the hardest thing for both of us.
Yeah. Well, I think for us, it's also like we got to set ourselves up for success starting early in the morning. So those 4 a.m. wake up calls, getting up, getting out into the gym. And I'm not the nicest in the morning. So it takes me like, give me caffeine, let it work its magic. And that's like our time together, right? So we go out there, we work out, we talk. And then in turn, that gets me ready. Okay, I got to get the girls up, get them all going. It's like an assembly line, do all their hair, make sure that everything's flowing smooth, lunches, breakfast, and then we all get out the door. But we have to do these things in order for our mornings to run smooth. And then I get ready for my moms. We have mommy time. And Jeremy knows once they hit, that's like a shot of espresso times 20. I'm through the roof. I'm excited. I'm pumped. And then we find our balance throughout the day. We go, we do our things. You know, I also have Alea with me. So, you know, we got to make sure that we get naps in and all the things. But if we are on our best behavior and we're waking up at 4 a.m. and we're on the healthy track, then everything just kind of flows smoothly, right?
We had one friend and they were like, you guys wake up at what time? Like 4? Yeah. And that's because I got to be at work at 6, right? So we wake up at 4 and some people were like, oh my God, literally we're waking up at 3:45 because you got to wake up. You got to wait, like literally you're sitting on the toilet. First thing, I'm Instagramming, seeing how many people watched the stories but didn't like it, right? Yeah. And then we get in the gym. I have to be in the gym by 4 because I'm doing my cardio. She gets her coffee. And then when she gets out there, it's like, we talk. It's our time. We have a workout. We get through a workout. And then she wakes up. She's not the nicest in the morning, like she said. So she gets her coffee in, and then she's talking. And I'm not the most patient. So I'll be like bench pressing, and she'll be like asking me a question. I'm on like, she's like, you're not talking to me. I'm like, we're really like in a full deep conversation. And then sometimes when we're out there, we're like, hey, we miss a whole set because we just sit there and we get lost in conversation. And it's like, we built this, right? And then this is what we're showing our kids to sacrifice. Wake up. It'd be easy to sleep till 7 in the morning, right? Not work out, not do these things. But while we're doing that, we'll be talking in deep conversation. And guess what? The kitchen door opens up to the garage, and it's one of the kids. Are you guys almost done working out? All right, hey, it's your set. I'll go make cereal, turn on TV. I'll come back, finish the set. You go in. You get the other girl, Alea, awake, change your diaper. You're set now, right? And then we do those things to where hopefully our kids see it and they put health first, right? And we do those things. But a story I was going to get to, one of our friends, Michelle, who kind of went through this, and we did 75 hard, made it all the way through, made great leaps, and she didn't think she can do 75 hard. And then we were like, John, you can do it. You can do anything. She did 75 hard, and she was like, on her last day, she was like, I want to come work out with you guys in the morning. And she came in the morning. We put her through a workout. So it's not like a circuit workout. It's literally like either upper body, something like that. And she went and she came, and then we all had conversation. And she was like, afterwards, she was like, it's not that bad. And then she was like, okay, now I understand why you guys like wake up, right, and do these things. So there's so many hours in a day, and if you get lost scrolling on Instagram or social media, or you get lost with just being like feeling sorry for yourself, then you lose those hours, and those unproductive hours over a week's time just add up to where you could be reading, you could be, working on your fitness, you could be connecting in conversation, talking, doing things with your kids. There's so many things you could be doing. So
there's this term out there when you actually said it too, and we were talking about this off air. When you do start something of your own, whether it be a business or a venture or so on and so forth, you really, really get to see who are the supporters and who are the ones that are just watching.
I think it goes back to being genuine, right? For me, it's always so hard because how can you not be happy for really anyone? Yeah. If they're succeeding in life, I'm applauding. Like, I don't have social media, so I'm the one that's obviously you're not going to get a like from me because I don't have it. But I want everyone to be as successful as possible in anything and everything in life. So when you do see those haters, it's like, man, the way that I deal with it, yeah, like I'll give it a moment, like, man, that's a bummer. But also I feel like for me, I just pray for them, and move forward. And I try not to let it like affect me. And really, we're going to have haters for the rest of our lives. And as long as I'm good, my family's good, then that's all that matters, right? And our business is good.
Yeah. What I do personally, like say if somebody's out there tracking their finances on a spreadsheet, right? I have like this mental spreadsheet in my head and I'm like, oh, this person, all right, there's another one. There's another one. Just in case in the future, when things blow up, they're going to be like, I feel like this always happens. You hear these stories when your project blows up or your business blows up and you're getting notoriety, so on and so forth. You're getting all the support. And then those people who never did, then they want to jump on the wagon. So those people are just like in this mental file of mine. I mean, I'll accept it. Like, I appreciate the love. Thank you, my man. But it's like, you're not going to come in the circle just because things are booming.
I think you touched on something, and I think I kind of had to check myself like recently because being in athletics and competitive sports for so long, right? It's one man in, one man out. One team wins, one team out. So what has driven me, like my whole entire life, how I've been programmed since I've been 6 years old, the winner is the one with the most points. So then when you translate that, but honestly, it's not. And I was listening to one of your podcasts, and you said that in this space of fitness, in this space of podcasting, there's enough for everybody. And then when I switched that mindset and I was thinking about it, there is, if you want to come to Jones and Fitness, right, wherever you want to go, whatever fits you, I will celebrate that and go. So for BAB, what we were talking about is like the athletic sided training. Some kids want to go to other trainers that do these things. Why? How can I possibly put down somebody else for trying to do the same thing? So in that motto, I said, unless I help that person and they, didn't take any of the suggestions, unless I've done their workouts, I'll never talk shit about them.
Yeah.
Right? There's so many like athletes, and there's people that always tag me like, oh, look at this person. Look at that. Oh, great. It looks good.
Yeah. And
there's so many reputable, like around us, like what we're doing. There was one of the best high school athletes that I've ever seen out of Gunderson, Jason Harrison. I think it was like class of like 2001 or 2. He just started his training program, and there's kids that are going there. And I tell these kids, if you're a running back, you want to go there, go work with him. Come work with us. There's other kids that we've seen, and all of us are interconnected, right? Mm-hmm. And you see, and I'm like, oh, God, go there. Pro sports. And it's been doing training for a long time, right? And then it's like, go see it. And if it works for you, it works for you. It's great. Everybody, there's not one magic key to this thing. And individually, if that person could push you to that next level, climb onto that person and go.
Yeah.
So, like we said, so being genuine again is what we do is not for likes. It's not for profit. It's for that feeling of we made somebody better. So when that person is with us, if we can't make them better and somebody else can, we encourage you to go and do those things.
Yeah. It's so funny too, because it's like at the end of the day, it's just serving. So if people are in the podcasting space, the media space, the fitness space, what is everybody doing in that space? They're trying to serve people as best as they possibly can. So in a way, we're all doing the same thing. So it's like, there's no loser in that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, if you go over here, then that's fine. Like say if I hire a producer, he's like, you know what, man, this person's going to pay me more. I'm going to go over to this person. I'm like, bro, shout out to you. Go get that money. Take care. I hope you learned a lot of lessons here. Shout out to you, brother. Nothing but love, nothing but success. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, F this guy, F you. I'm not going to do that. It's unnecessary. No. It's a waste of energy and a waste of time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I completely agree with that. We're all nearly doing the same thing. One of the things about the fitness space that you're seeing on social media is if you're not doing it this way, you're doing it the wrong way. So if you're not eating carnivore, everything else is bad. If you're not a vegetarian, this is bad. If you're not doing CrossFit, this is bad. If you're not a runner, this is bad. How do you guys fluctuate through all that? And like, even when it comes to clients, when they have questions about that, how do you guys fluctuate?
Well, we fluctuate a lot. I feel like right now we're just having this conversation. We're like, we're just not, we are the face of our business and we have to put in the same work that everyone else is putting in, if not better, right? They're looking to us, but
so it's like what Des does say is to the clients is like, hey, this works for me, right? Everybody's body type is different. Something might work differently for you, right? And then, but we're not robots like we were talking about. We're definitely not robots. And I think that's the difference between, you know, the Instagram trainers that you see that are, God, you only see highlights. You only see the best lighting. You only see the best filters, right? I mean, I don't have a six pack, right? But what I do have is show you is that it's real life. Like I can show you and do these things, and then
You're jacked, bro. You're a man's man. Shut up.
no, but I mean, I'm not 5% body fat. I'm not doing all those things.
But that's not sustainable, though.
It's
not sustainable. Why would I want to walk around lightheaded every time I stand up? I'm gonna faint. That is not sustainable. Like everybody always says that, like, oh, like what's your body fat percentage? I don't care and I don't track that. I go based on how I feel, how my energy is, so on and so forth. Looking good is just like, oh, okay, cool. And sure, that's hot.
And you know what? And you just hit on something. We go and work 16 hours basically a day. We wake up at 4 a.m. We work out. We have a family. We do all these things. We take clients almost all the way till almost 8 o'clock at night. We sustain our marriage. We sustain our kids. They're all doing good in school. We're doing everything we possibly can for all our kids, right? So that's feeling good, feeling great. And then guess what? We can also have fun. We can also enjoy a drink. We can also enjoy pizza. We can without feeling bad. But we know that we're going to have to work those things off.
Yeah.
And so at the same time, we know that we have to remind our clients too that sometimes we have to jump in the circuits.
Yeah.
And it's difficult.
Yeah.
We're like, oh my God, hold it. And Des would call me out. She's like, plank higher, hips up. Hey, maybe I got to take a phone call, right? Is the buzzer going? Right. So,
No, but I feel like we're realistic too,
Yeah.
right? Like we enjoy having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we have a good balance of it all. And our families like to have fun too. So we also connect in those ways as well, where after a workout, we have fun. We hang out. We'll put a pickleball net up, like whatever it is, right? We'll have a drink, we'll toast. But also we know we have to like pick up those pieces the next day.
But do you guys ever, because I know that's what the fitness community has, is like they're so worried about what people think and what they're saying to themselves internally. Do you guys have those conversations with yourselves?
But yeah, I feel like I have those moments of like, yeah, you know, people are looking to you. We are the face of our business. We have to be in shape. And I feel like we are after 3 kids and all the things. Like I'm going to celebrate that. But yeah, as of today, yes. Listen, I need to get back on it.
We're realistic here.
no, but I think because me, like in high school and my whole venture to try to get to the NFL, I didn't blend those things, right? So I missed out on so much by just being so driven and doing those things. You miss out on relationships. You miss out on those memories. You miss out on the little things where, you know, in college, a teammate, you know, I didn't drink alcohol. I'm not encouraging people to drink and it's for anybody, but I wouldn't go out. I would just stay in my room and then be like, I'm waking up and I'm working out and doing those things.
Yeah.
Well, what did that get me now? I might have missed a relationship where I could have had a teammate that lives across the country that I could have been celebrating his, you know, the birth of his new son or going to a wedding and things like that. So I think when you said we are realists, we are. And some people will get confused by it because we'll do a hard ass workout. And then it's like the last, you know, circuit, the last minute of the circuit, and said, hey, instead of us doing the last round, we're going to do an echo bike competition. You pick 5 people, you pick 5 people, and we're counting it. And then they're, you know, at that echo bike, you're giving your life, right? It takes your soul, and then we have a shot waiting for them. And they're like, we just did all this, and we're going to take a shot? A shot of what?
Tequila.
And they're like, and then
Like
their
carrot
first thing,
juice.
they'll be like, well, where's the chaser? You just did all this hard stuff, and you're worried about a chaser. And then they take the shot, and then they're like, we just celebrated what we did. And they're like, and one of my neighbors asked me, he was like, wait, we just did all this work to drink a tequila. And I go, it's not about the look, right? It's not about the end result. It's about being here, being together, and celebrating. Every time celebrating. Right.
I love that, man.
And that's it.
Jeez.
Well, and then that's where we say, hey, is it in the back of your mind? Because that celebration turns into 2 bottles, 3 bottles all day, a whole day. And then at the end of the day, I'm running around with my shirt off saying, hey, I'm ordering pizza. Right. But, but for the most part, it's, hey, let's celebrate. Because what most people don't understand is why they keep coming back to Jones and Fitness. It's not to be 5% body fat. It's not to be the rippedest. It's not to be the hottest, right? It's because that emotional support, that family, that support, and then when they walk away, that feeling. All it is a feeling. This is all we're bottling up and selling.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's 1 person, 100 people, we're selling that feeling. And you're going to get that feeling every time from us because we're truly invested in it.
Yes. Also, when it comes to entrepreneurship and business owners, there are strengths and weaknesses within all of us. What do you guys feel personally when it comes to your business venture is your strength and your weakness for both of you personally? I'll go first if it makes you guys comfortable. My weakness is leadership. I'm not the best leader because I have a very high standard. And if it's not duplicatable, if it's not meeting that standard, it's very tough for me. Like if somebody shows late, I'm turned off. It doesn't work with me. But maybe that's something that I need to work on, where it's like, maybe I need to cut down on that standard a little bit. So it's just like, I think leadership is one of my weaknesses. One of my strengths is speed to execution. I'm very fast at what an idea comes my way. It's like, okay, let's just execute. Let's just put it to work. See if it works. If it doesn't, okay. But for you guys personally, what would you guys say is your guys' strength and your guys' weakness?
Ooh, I feel our strength is truly getting to know each individual that walks through our garage. I've heard it so many times. I've gone to so many trainers. They haven't even asked me. They know nothing about me.
That's crazy.
And that's just who I am. Like, I want to know, like, if you're having a hard day, let's talk about it. If I'm having a hard day, can you please be like, we're just real, and we get to know each person and we let them be themselves. Come here, be yourself. If I can listen, let me listen. If I can help, let me help, whatever it is, while we're working out together. That's what I feel like our strength is. We truly, again, we're going to go back to this, genuinely care about each person, and we can tell you about each person and their families, their husband, like whatever it is. It's beautiful. Yeah. What's our weakness?
I would say that would be our weakness too. Because at the end of the day, we care so much. And then there's so many people. Like myself, I would give myself up for this person, modifying my schedule, trying to get there. And then the financial part would be like, hey, the fairness, right? So, one client will be saying, hey, I'm paying this. This is what your value is. Another client says, hey, I can only afford this. I might not be able to come. And then where our hearts are is like, we want everybody to be there, right? So that's the hard part about us, because we've never turned anybody away. We've always made modifications. And then if you read through literature and all that, that's one of the biggest downfalls of business, right? Is, giving out. So that's a hard part of us, because we don't want to, like, those hard conversations, the financial parts, right? The scheduling, when people, no show, no call, right? Those things, right? And then, hey, sign up on our website to make sure we have enough, spots, and then people just show up.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, hey, we'll make it work. And then that's how we are. Hey, somebody just came, when we made a workout for 7 people, and then, 11 people show up, and we're like, hey, don't worry about it. We'll make it work. So, but I think that is more of a strength than a weakness, and I think if we were in a different, like, financial, playing field, then our models wouldn't fit, right? Like our morals and ethics wouldn't fit. So, that is something that we're kind of battling, where it's like, hey, okay, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how we want to do it. All right. Just to be structured, everybody sign up, everybody do this, we pay this, they do that. So, but again, like Des said, it's like, it's hard when you know everybody and you know what every single person's going through. And so even though it's a fitness company, it is too kind of like that therapy session. Not even for just our clients. Because guess what? When I'm having a bad day, when I'm training these kids, I go, man, I remember when I was doing this and I got injured. Or I remember when, my friends didn't want to talk to me anymore because I said they weren't cool because they wanted to go party in Santa Cruz and I wanted to stay here and work out and they didn't want to work with me. Right? So I can give them those lessons in balance. Same thing with Des when she's like, I'm having a hard week. We have a party coming up. We have this coming up. And then those clients could invest back into us just as much as we give to them. So that's our strength and I would say our weakness.
Yeah. I also want to talk about the compensation side because that's probably the toughest thing that we all go through. You know what I mean? When it comes to the charging aspect of clients. And I'll say this an example. Quite recently, 3 weeks ago, I went to go see Hector. Hector's my old coach from fighting. And at the end of the session, I was like, how much? But I said, brother, we need to break the habit of not charging people. You know what I mean? I was like, look at this facility. I was like, you invested in this facility, right? I was like, so what you teach and what you give is very valuable, correct? I was like, okay, that deserves compensation. So it does not matter if we are family. I was like, I've known you for years. You developed a lot when it comes to my fighting career. It does not matter. You still deserve some compensation. Same thing with you guys. When I come over on a Sunday, I'm going to pay. That is common sense for me, especially people who are involved in business understand. People who do not, don't. But me personally, I am trying to break that habit as well because I did a lot of graduation photos this season when it comes to family and I didn't charge them fully. It's because I love them with my, like, every single bit of me. But at the same time, it's like, it's a lot of time on my end. My equipment is very expensive. For me to go even click that button is very, very expensive, but it's very tough still, right? It's a habit that we all need to break when it comes to the business factor. But for you guys, how did you guys start that? Because I know it's hard for you guys to just going back to the whole genuine. You guys are so genuine. It's like you don't think about the money. Just as fighters, you don't think about the money. You think about the glory of it. But when it comes to business, your guys' fulfillment is the clients and the satisfaction that they get from being with you guys. But when it comes to the compensation part, what is that like?
Is it on me only?
You can go, and then when she comes back, we'll go. She could go.
To be honest, I think that's the hardest part, right? Because for me, I've invested a lot in people for a long time. And it's always been, the way Des and I both came up, it's been kind of a rag to riches story where we didn't have anything, where I've seen my mom and my dad borrow, beg, and steal at some points, right? So it's like, hey, I'll always pay that back. So when it comes to compensation, I'm doing what I love. And then at the end of it, you look at it, it's like the money doesn't matter, but it's the respect of the craft. So you're not paying me for my bank account to get fat. You're actually investing in me to get better, to invest back into you. And that's our whole model with everything. So like our gym was fine for just Des and I. We felt it was state of the art. Yeah. But when people started coming, you want to walk into something nice. So what you're paying for, everything is invested back into you using, we got pink bars, women bars, purple bars, a nice floor, nice equipment, right? Wiped it down. All those things are invested. So for us, the compensation, we keep it reasonable to where everybody is manageable. It's not crazy amount, and you can come work out. And we've argued about this where it's like, God, you guys are only charging that much because you know who we are individually and personally. And we've had clients where we're like, oh, yeah, we'll drop our, no, don't drop your price. They actually got mad at us and saying, we're paying this, but we want you to up your price. So that's where it comes in. But it's also kind of like, I've took it from LaRussell, which he's a popular Bay Area artist right now. It's really, really getting big. But he did something when he was like grassroots mainstream where he goes, an offer-based system. You pay what you can. What you feel my value is worth, you give it to me. So if you feel my value is worth $15 a workout, good. If you feel, and then the next client feels my value is $50, going down to $40, down to $30, and then that person that really feels my value is $100 but only can afford $5, guess what? We're all covered. Everybody's covered. Everybody gets it. Everybody does it. And it really like sits at home with me with that to where one size doesn't fit all. And I've had a very good client that we'll talk about a little bit later, but one of the most driven kids, I called his dad and I was like, man, I've been working with your son, and he's so dedicated. He's so respectful. This kid is like somebody I would want my daughter to model her manners after. And once she starts dating, I want her to date somebody like this kid. So because of that, I want to negotiate the price down. And he goes, no. And I was like, wait, really? Well, sir, the reason why I want to negotiate, because there's another kid, and I think that it would actually help the competition in the room. But, their family has, they're doing this. They can afford this. You sure you don't want to bring the price down just so it's fair? Thank you for telling me, but no.
I love guys like that.
Right?
Because they see the value. Like,
Wait, hold on. Tell me the question again. I forgot. I had to pee so bad.
When it comes to the whole compensation part, how do you feel about that when it comes to the whole financial topic?
Oh, I get awkward.
Right.
With it. But I feel like all of our clientele is very like, no, this is what you're worth. We're going to pay it. Right? Like I don't feel like we've had this issue.
No. And like what we looked at, like these major gyms that you look at, and then people tell us, like even us, like we look at some of the gyms to go for some of the amenities. We can't afford it. As a family of 5, you're like, you want us to pay $560 a month?
There's
right?
no way.
Yeah. And then so now no wonder why people, are not turned on by fitness, because they can't afford it. They don't know what to do. People don't eat healthy because it's super expensive when they don't know what to do. And then so us, like we said, stronger together. So we're always going to stay in that realm where it's affordable for people. It's accessible for everybody, but also it's worthwhile for us to continue to do this and grow, right? And build up.
And I feel like I've gotten, remember, I mean, the last podcast I was saying, like, if those things come up, I'm going to be so nervous. I feel like you said, your worth, what you're worth. And it's okay to have those uncomfortable conversations. And everyone's really good about it. People forget, right? Yeah. Like, everyone's busy. Everyone's doing their thing. And you reel it back in, have those conversations, and boom.
So you brought up something about Coach Hector, right? But we did the same thing with you. So even when we asked for your services,
there you go.
You did say, we've been through so much.
Yeah.
You actually were there, helped me train, track workouts. I would never charge you. And then so we seen that, right? And we were like, well, what do we do?
See you.
He's not going to charge us, but we're going to cook him dinner. We just want time. Like we want this, right? Outside of it, where we support each other. And it's hard because like even for us, people will kind of be like, oh man, like I remember those days, right? And then that's when you invest in people, right? So you invest that apple seed outside. You don't expect to get apples right away, right? That apple tree is going to grow, and then eventually it's going to come back full force, feed you. You know, you could sell those apples, do those things. And that's what happened a long, long time ago when we were training and running out there at Lee, when we were doing those things where money was never an option. It was just family. And then it was that feeling of investing back into each other. But ways that happen is like our businesses, all these people that have invested in clients, not even in us. They go, hey, come give this a try. Yeah. I met these great people, right? So as soon as we get out of here, there's people already going to text us, hey, how'd the podcast go? Now who's this podcast? Who's this guy, Danny?
Yeah.
Oh my God, right? And so that's how it grows, and that's how the community grows. And then that's how you start something special. So it's hard because money does rule the world. Like, we need money. You need compensation. And not only that, you need respect on your craft, because if it's all watered down, you told us this. And somebody one of our clients just did this. They go, hey, if I don't pay for it, I won't respect it. So don't try to give me a discounted price. No, I want to pay because I want to feel the value. And that goes both ways. So with you, with certain people, and I know you say it, how are you going to manage that? Like because I am going to call you for some of my high school athletes to film and capture these moments that are going to be moments forever for them coming from you.
When it comes to family, it's like, what's your budget? What are you willing to invest in? And then we can fluctuate to see what's comfortable for both sides. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. I would say that's more realistic when it comes to family. I spoke with a photographer too. He's like, bro, I never take photos of my family anymore. He's like, when it comes to family events, I'm never the guy to take photos anymore. He's like, because they took advantage of me. And I was like, dang, because I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I'm the one with the camera documenting everything. I've been doing that since I was a teen. So, and even the training, when we were at the track, if I wasn't doing it, my little brother was doing it, taking all the photos, so on and so forth. But when it comes to family, it's just, let's negotiate what works for the both of us. That's sustainable and that works and that we're both winning. So say if I'm going to be doing your media, right? Let's create a situation where you're winning. Let's create a situation where I'm winning. And let's create a situation where when you post it, you gain more traction, you gain more business. Therefore, your social media is also making you win. So that's 1, 2, 3. 3 wins. Let's make a 3-way situation where we're all winning. One of my cousins, she graduated. I didn't charge her. She was the one that I didn't charge. And I had to drive to a pretty far distance. I had to take this camera over here. We went from location to location to location. It was a lot of time on my end. Didn't charge. So it's also me internally saying, I need to break that habit. But do I regret it? No.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't think about that. I don't. I do. Honestly, bro, me documenting an event, even with you guys, I interviewed you by yourself. I interviewed you by yourself. And then I had you guys together. And then I have you guys on right now. That's a form of documentation. It's different phases of your life. And I love being that person that's documenting everything. You know what I mean? I've had that passion since I was a kid. Even when I was a fighter, I never hired a videographer to follow me around and capture the moments where I lost and I won. You know what I mean? So now I want to be that guy to capture all those moments, and they're the best. And people, I don't know, man, they get kind of weirded out when it comes to the pricing also when it's not family. Because I had a conversation today where somebody are you free this date at this event? I was like, yeah, that's right. Oh, send me a quote. I'm like, okay, this is going to be this much. This is going to be that much. Boom, there you go. And she was like, why is that so much? And I responded, I said, how much is catering? How much are the drinks? How much are the tables for the food and for the people? It's a lot of money, right? But when it comes to the person that's capturing the moment, that's the thing you have a question with? All love and respect. I don't think you want to work with me. I'm like, there's plenty of talented people out there who can document the event. I don't think I'm the guy for you.
Yeah.
I've worked with them before. And not even did I work with them, I over-delivered, meaning She paid me to be here for 3 hours at an event. I stayed for an extra 3, meaning I did way more documentation for them at their party, for their event. I didn't need to do that. That's one of our mottos when it comes to me and my brother's media company, is to over deliver no matter what. If we were at a wedding and they paid us for this time and that time, I'm going to be here another 3 hours if I have to, because I will, because that's the genuine side of me where it's like, do the extra because it leaves a good mark on people. Back to that original question. I went on a rant, Jesus. Back to that original question. If I were to work with family, friends, it would be, let's negotiate budgets so where everybody is winning. That's what I would do.
It's tough, right? Because then you're like, oh, you don't like me. This is the favorite cousin. Why don't you do that? Because I changed your diaper, right? So, no, but we've always like appreciated that, but the genuine part, right? So, going back to the investing, you had us on the podcast. You spoke this into existence before we even did.
Yeah.
So then now when you say that 3-part where we're all winning, you brought us on here, you talked about it, and it was in the infancy phase. It was not even something. It was kind of something that we were thinking about that we were doing. Why don't you do this? We talked about it on the podcast. It was posted online. People were like, oh, you're going to do that? Like, when are you going to do it? Now we have to have a date. Now we're doing it. Now we're here. Now we're sitting up here confidently saying we have a fitness business that's homegrown. We're close to 80-something customers, right?
That's crazy.
That's open 7 days a week. That has 4 different facets, subsections of a fitness company. We have a overall with a family CrossFit style circuit where everybody comes on the weekend and gets their blessing. Then we have a mommy time where moms come, and that nobody's still that mom me time, because all the moms need their own time to bloom in the best version of themselves and connect with other moms. Personal training. Then we have the sports development, where we're building confidence through movement for young girls, young athletes, right? Building that confidence. And then we have the elite training. So we're trying to get kids in the Bay Area recognized and getting them D1 scholarships, not to go to the pros or anything, because it's a small percentage, but to be good human beings and being around people from different parts of the world, getting their education paid for, and getting that head start on life. And that's what we're doing. So from this, where you talk about that 3-part model, you had us on, you filmed for us, we've been there, but it went back to even when we first met in AKA gym, where it's like, hey, you do conditioning? All right, I did conditioning. And then when I was like, hey, can I really train these kids? I was like, yeah. I was entrusted with training some of the best athletes at AKA, and I did it for them, and they fought at the highest level. I could do it, right? Yeah. So it's investing back and forth in that relationship and that bond that will never be broken. And then and I get goosebumps talking about it, but our gym, that's what we're doing. With all 80-something of our clients, that's that investment. And it's growing from a small seed to lifetime friends to being there. We can call right now and anybody would pick up the phone and say, hey, what do you need? What do you got to do? Who do we got to go? Are we fighting or are we drinking? What are we doing? Oh, are we working out? What are we doing? We'll be there. And we have not friends, we have chosen families. So that's the beautiful part of what we're doing.
And you know what's funny? I going back to the whole compensation part, something that I mentioned this with my brother, because we do have these sit downs and we are tracking everything. And then I had this talk with him. I was like, you know what's funny? Like our business model is like based out of like going back to the whole being genuine and doing it out of love and actually showing like we actually care of like documentation of these people's moments. Every time we have done free work, business came out of it. Why? Because you leave a good mark, right? So I remember when I did that, it's funny, I did that free graduation for my cousin. That got me 8 more graduation photos to take, right? So with you guys, when I made that little video, people asked me, can you come to my gym and document me working out? Sure. Doing free work sometimes actually pays.
But then with that, we seen, right? And we don't have boys. We have 3 girls.
Yeah.
But the genuine part of that was part of that character building where we seen where this kid comes from, Callahan, and talking to his dad. And then we invest in that kid. And just today we went shopping and Des was like, oh my God. He ripped his shorts while he was working out. We got to get him a pair of Lulu shorts, right? We ain't like invest in that, in these kids to where we genuinely love them like they're our own.
Well, and for us, having 3 girls, right? Boys weren't in our cards. God knew we were going to be girl parents. And I told these boys, as they're all lining up to get in the plunge, I mean, mind you, all great kids. They've been raised by amazing families, and they're just, I can't talk enough about these boys. They're amazing. And I told them, I'm like, we had girls, boys weren't in our hands. You guys are our boys. I want to be there to support, to cheer you on, to uplift, anything that I can, right? So it goes back to the winning. We're winning. We didn't get boys. Those are our boys. And I tell the parents all the time, I hope it's not weird, but those are our boys that we didn't get to have. And we're going to support, love, do all the things that we can for them.
In the same way, they'll post it or they talk word of mouth. And then I was on a call the other day while I was working. It was a burglary, and I pulled up, and one of the kids pulled up, and he was like, oh my God, you're Jones in Fitness. Not that I was, Coach Jay, Jeremy, anything like that. You know who that is? It's Jones in Fitness. And I called Des, I was like, got in the car, right? I was so proud, right? But then I was like, all right, man, you want to work out? Guess what? Because of these boys or because of it, we got, hey, can I work out with you? Can I work out with you? Hey, we want to work out. And then, then we once we get the media stuff going, and then once we get the recruiting stuff going, it's like, all right, here's next. Yeah. And then that's the hard part of the business, to where our hearts, it's like we only have so much time in a day. And then we remember who those people were before you were Jones in Fitness or BAB, these kids that started with us. We're always going to have you first. These other kids there's going to be a wait list, right? Our divine efforts and everything is going to go into you 100%, right? Yeah. And then I think that's where your value comes in. And then people respect that, and they genuinely will compensate you on their scale, right? And they see that, how much we invest in every single person.
Yeah. And I feel like people take us very seriously when they do see the investment side of it, where if I were to just kind of use maybe my phone to do this podcast, probably wouldn't be as say an exotic kind of look to it, you know what I mean? Or these arm booms or these podcast mics or the studio. It's like people kind of take you very seriously when you actually invest into your craft. Just like when people walk into your guys' gym and they're like, oh, I actually went to a store one time and I saw that Stairmaster. It's very, very expensive. Your kind of stock goes up a little higher because they're like, oh, they're actually very serious on what they do. So it's like you guys actually leave that really good mark because you are also reinvesting in the business continuously.
Being so new, and like you said, you're trying to invest and keep up in all of the things. I mean, there's so many new things every time you open any kind of app. So I feel like for us, we aren't seeing anything. It's mainly going back into our business, which is fine.
Yeah.
Right? Like I said, we're so blessed to have Jeremy has a great career, and before this I was able to stay home. So we've always been fine. But I think right now, with being very new, we're wanting to invest back into our clientele and having the best of the best equipment.
Yeah. Are you guys looking to make merch or anything like that?
We were just talking about this. We want to do it, but it's like,
I'm trying to do that too, but I'm trying to find the right person to do it with. You know what I mean? Because I want it long term. Yes. I don't want to just go to some spot and be like, oh, can you put this print on this sweater and so on and so forth. It's like, I want a long term relationship. That's one of the things about business too that I'm starting to realize. And it kind of breaks my heart lately, where people focus on numbers first, relationships, not even an idea. like my whole philosophy when it comes to business is be the light of business, because business is very, very dark.
That's so scary, right? Like you have to have all your ducks in a row and be
Yeah.
prepared for, which is sad. I mean, I feel like it's life, like be prepared for anything negative that's going to come your way, right?
And I think our safeguard for this is we're not like, F-45 on the side of the road with like everybody coming in social media. We are word of mouth, but not only word of mouth, we are word of family. So when somebody comes, it's like, Danny, you're coming and you're going to bring somebody I don't know, but they're coming through you, working out through you. I trust you, so I trust them. And then we build a relationship, right?
Yeah.
First class is free. You come. Did you like it? What could we do? What was different? What did you enjoy? What didn't you enjoy that we can improve on? And then that person goes, all right, I want to come back. And then guess what? Now that family friend is friends of one of our friends, and now they're talking. And then this thing is a community, a tribe. The scariest thing since the start of mankind is being outside of that tribe. Because when you're outside of that tribe, you don't survive. So in our gym, you come in, it's not like we literally don't take anybody we don't know. Like a word off the street, like somebody would call us, they'll either see us, say, hey, I know this person. It's kind of like an exclusive invite. And for us, we can do that because we're not about the profit. We're about the fill, right?
Yeah.
And going back to the financial side of it, it's all investment. So, if we grind and we have our clients that are coming, now they're coming 3 days a week, this and that, and they're paying us. Well, guess what? We ask. We're like open-minded. We don't have all the answers. Hey, what do you guys like to see? Do you guys see anything else? What kind of equipment? Oh, you guys need a different type of bar. You need a lighter bar because this men's bar is too heavy. All right, guess what? We're good. We're going to go on the business account. We're going to buy 2 of those bars. Hey, you want to work on your hamstrings, your glutes? Okay, we're going to get the freak machine where it's 6-in-1, where we have room. Oh, you guys want to work on this? We're going to buy a Stairmaster.
Yeah.
Right? So it's all what our clients want. They're investing in themselves. And then guess what? At 4 a.m, we get to open the door and reap what we sow, right?
Yeah.
And put ourselves through it. So that's the thing. So hopefully we safeguard on that. But like anything, we do have a system in place where they sign up online, they sign a waiver form, they pay, they register online, and they do all those things. But again, the community we have is like solid people.
One of the best things to be as a person is to be of some use. Do you guys actually, honestly, see how valuable you both are? Not only to each other, but to people. Do you guys see that?
Yeah. I'm starting to, because again, let's rewind back when I was like, I'm terrified. I don't think I can, all of the things. I wasn't confident. I was very fearful. And I think it came from, a lot of things. And now, and I'll still doubt myself here and there, but you hear like the things that some of my clients say, like towards me, like you got the chance to get to know me, or just whatever it is. I really like care, and yeah, I am of value and I do feel valuable. And now when they say those things, I'm like, they're right. Like I feel it now and I believe it now. Before I'd be like, no way in hell.
Yeah. What about you, Jeremy?
I do. And the measure for me is not wins and losses or gains. It's kind of those smiles and the whispers outside of myself. And for me, my focus is athletics, young kids, especially the young kids that didn't believe, right? So when people come up and talk to Des and be like, hey, is your husband the one that coaches? I'd love my daughter to be on your team. We've seen how he did those things. So that's the things, right? And then that's what reminds me of even working long hours, 16 hours the night before, then having to wake up at 9 a.m, and then going and coaching kindergarten kids in basketball and losing, but all the kids won because they're having a fun time. Now they're friends, and now we're friends with their parents. That's winning.
Yeah, 110%.
And then that's the value. And that's the value. And then that's when I can walk around with my head high, and you're like, oh, hey, you're the coach, or hey, can my daughter be on your team?
And going back to business is very complex. It's very complicated. When it comes to like your education in business, whenever there be books, whether it be podcasts, etc., what does your guys' education look like when it comes to the business world?
I recently got a master's degree in organizational leadership, but we had a segment on business and contracts, right? And when you do dollars and cents, and there's different incentives for the purchaser, right? So I can go, hey, I got a contract date, but if I beat this date, then you're going to pay me. So then now I'm going to work harder for you to say, I'm building your house. And if I build your house before October 31st, you're going to pay me $100,000 more. Well, if the owner of the house really wants it, they go, there's no chance he's going to build it before that. Yeah. And then I go, if it's November 1, then you take away $50,000, right? So there's different kind of contracts and models. But just once people believe in your product over time for years, you might not drink Coca-Cola, but you know what Coca-Cola stands for. You know what color it is. You know what it looks like, right? So it's that brand. Yeah. And for us in social media and word of mouth and reputation, for us, it's just like the brand. Mm-hmm. When people say mommy time, some people might think, oh yeah, I'm going to the nail salon and all that. But when they talk about it around us, it's like, oh shit, that's a workout. That's a Des workout. Yeah. We're going to see Des, right? Mm-hmm. So it's branding and really being respected in your brand.
What kind of look are you guys trying to do when it comes to the social media going forward? Because what I see personally is Des in that kitchen cooking up those meals and showing her ingredients, you know what I mean? Showing a lot of the behind the scenes that people love, you know what I mean? I remember the last time when we were having dinner, we were talking about that, like behind the scenes of getting a workout set up or setting up the gym or this or that, why you're doing that, and getting actually the whole coverage of the kid going through every single set. You know what I mean? I feel like that's like raw. It's like realistic, whether it's going back to just a highlight. Like, why don't we document the reality of like, or the parent like, Jesus, where's my shot? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, we're so transparent at Mommy Time, by the way, because Alea's rolling on through on her bike. And I'm like, Alea, May, get out of here right now. It's like as real as you can get, but that's not on camera.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, one of my clients, Raina, she's asked me a few times, she's like, when are you going to put your food up there? When are you going to do this? And my response always is, I don't have social media. Jeremy runs it all. I don't want it. But also it's like, where am I going to find that extra time to document me making these meals, or, my daily life of getting the kids ready and screaming and yelling out of the house into the car? Who's going to get that? Because the last thing I can think of is putting a camera on and doing it. Or maybe that's what I got to do. And then, but we have talked about the food bit. Like you said, I cooked a meal for you guys. I love to cook and I love to create in the kitchen. That's my therapy.
Yeah.
It's finding the time.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I think that's why you love us, right? And that's you sang our praises about our relationship, who we are as individuals. And then the moms that come and our clients that come, they get to see that. Yeah. They get to see you working out and be like, hey, hold on. Sorry. Alea just pooped. I got to go change her diaper like today.
Literally today.
In the middle of it. And the mom's like, oh yeah, I can relate to that. But they also don't see that when the moms go, hey, my daughter is sick from school today, so I'm going to park my car right in the driveway, leave the window down, and I'm going to get this workout while my daughter's there. Right? And then, hey, I got to take a timeout because do you have a napkin? Because she spilled something. Or the other kids, mommy, what? We're working out. Okay, hey, next station is the rest station. So the people, our clients that come, they see that genuine side. So for us, once we branch off, because we do have so many people that live in different states, so many people that I think would basically value from seeing that. I think that's when our Jones and Fitness goes to the next level, when we can post daily vlogs, our workouts, and then have that community. But again, we're talking it now. It might come to fruition in another 6 months, because all we do is need the equipment, and then we just need to take that leap, right? We're swimming in the shallow pool right now. We're getting towards it. With that, I think it's jumping in the deep end.
How do you guys feel about this? Because I feel like every time you guys have been on my podcast, this is very public. People can listen to this. People can look it up, press play, and hear everything that you guys have to say, right? There's this term out there that says execute in silence and don't speak about the things that you're kind of like going to venture off to. Me personally, I feel like every time I've said things out loud, they came true. So with you guys, it's the same thing nearly. You guys said a lot on my podcast. You guys said a lot of stuff to me off air. It all came true. How do you guys feel about that? I feel like there's that little percentage of me that's like, yes, execute in silence, but brag a little bit.
I feel like I'm very private. I keep things to myself. So to say things out loud is a huge step for me. And we talked about this actually on the way here, and we'll talk about it quite a bit, where do you remember all the things that we said with little Danny? Sorry, you're still going to be little Danny.
That's fine.
Forever.
I'm cool with that. I'm almost 30.
Okay, Danny. That it's all come to fruition, right? And now saying these things out loud, I believe that those things can happen.
For me, it's like, if I say it, right, what's the big deal if it doesn't happen? It's on me if I don't execute. And then if somebody wants to hold it that I didn't execute, well, then that's shame on you, because you're not trying, right?
Yeah.
So everything we say we can do, and I know that what we have is so special, but the biggest thing is it's so special to us. It's made our relationship stronger, individually, like how much we're giving to each person. You wake up with a purpose every day, and then us together, it's a together thing for our marriage too, where people look and they're like, God, you guys are like really doing it. Like, how do you do it? And sometimes we don't know how we do it, but you know why we do it is because we're doing it together.
Yeah.
And then our kids too, our kids see it. Our kids, walk away at school, and we have a 3-year-old that she's putting sentences together, but she knew it was Thursday, and she was like, Daddy, BAB, mommy workouts. So guess what? Those little things are like priceless. It's gonna go away, right? Even if this goes away, they're gonna remember. Hey, you remember when we were working out and the kids were so young, and we're taking shots after, and we were playing pickleball, and we became friends with this person because they were at workouts. Like, that's a moment in history that nobody can take from us, and we're already etching it in stone. And we're providers and protectors, like genuinely. And we both talked about this. I think our whole story's already written in stone. That's our kind of our belief, whatever faith or whatever you have, there's things that God has already planned out for us. And it's just amazing to really see what our plan is.
Yeah.
Well, and what our purpose is. I mean, I told you, I struggled for so long. What's my purpose? Why am I on this world? It's not, I love being a mom, but when you're confined to your walls of your home and like trying to navigate, there's no blueprint for being a parent. Trying to navigate that, you start losing yourself in it. It was like to the point where I had to hit rock bottom and say, no, I am also, outside of being mom, I'm also a human, and I have something to offer this world. What is it going to be? And it took a long time to figure it out. And now that I figured it out, that's like our purpose. Again, it goes back to like being genuine and like forming these sweet groups and the communities that we've formed, and waking up every day and helping someone else be a better version of themselves.
I also wanted to go back to the whole hiccups. Business is also, when it comes to being complicated, there are hiccups. What have been the biggest, I would say, headaches for you guys when it comes to being in business?
There's only 2 of us and 3 of them. And then, you know, running our business, for me personally, I feel like I want to give as much as I give to everyone else, to those 3 sweet, pure, innocent little girls. And I feel like that's where I kind of had to like find balance, right? Alea needs me in a different way right now. With all the other girls, they were in activities and all the things, and Alea hasn't got that. So it was like, oh, wait a minute. I also think I need to take a day off. 7 days a week is great for me, but is it realistic for my kids? I want them to know, regardless, you work, you build your own empire, but also you're just as important to me. And I want you to know, and I want you to feel that. So I feel like for me is finding balance as far as, okay, how much is realistic for me and the kids? Like, what can I handle? So I think like right now we just had this conversation, like there's one day that I need to reel it in and really just focus on the girls and really being present for them, because this time, I mean, Alea turned 3 on Wednesday. We don't have a baby. We're not going to have a baby anymore. And, you know, Kyla's getting older, Rayleigh's getting older. So really focusing and pausing a little bit and focusing on them.
Yeah, I would definitely second that, right? And you know, because your mind starts thinking business all the time. You'll be sitting there and they'll ask you a question. And you're like, did I make a video? Do we have a workout tomorrow? What's the next plan? Am I going to execute? How are we going to get these kids recruited? Like, you're thinking of the future, and then, you know, they're right there. And you're, oh yeah. Okay, hey, whatever, babe. And they're, you know, eating, you know, whatever they want on the second time after mom already told no, because they come to me. So little things like that is there, right? And there's balance, but also not being too hard on ourselves, right? Not being too hard on yourselves, because then it's hard to look in the mirror, right? When other people look in that mirror and that frame, they're like, oh my God, you guys have it all together. You know, you're great parents. You do these things and you do that. And then you're like, and when you get in this business part, you're like, I can always do better. You never just say, damn, I'm doing good. And I think that goes for all of us, like even as parents, whatever position you're in, you're alive, right? You're healthy. Give yourself a little pat on the back. And that's what we have to do too, right? Because we don't do that as much, because we're always like, hey, what's the next thing?
So guys, I want to be very respectful of your time. I have 2 more questions for you. I'm going to put you guys on the hot seat right now, okay?
Gosh.
So this podcast is hosted by me, but let's just say this podcast is your guys's. This is high-value discussions hosted by Jeremy Jones and Desiree Jones. If there was one question specifically for the both of you to ask me, what would it be?
Damn, when are you gonna settle down and have kids? I want to be an uncle already.
That's a good one. Hey, yes.
Like, one of my cousins asked me that when we went camping recently. He's like, hey, you got any girls yet? Are you talking to anybody? I'm like, no, bro. He's like, you said that last year and the year before. And I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, I was like, my wife is entrepreneurship right now. I was like, my wife is business right now. I was like, even though I want a wife, even though I want tons of children, I was like, that's just not in my wheelhouse right now, unfortunately. And I haven't bumped into anybody that kind of gave me that, like, hi. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I don't do the whole online dating thing. I am not opposed to settling down as of now. If I were to go to a restaurant, eat by myself, have a good steak, so on and so forth, and I happened to bump into a really attractive waitress, she was amazing, great conversation, so on and so forth, I asked for her number, we go out, so on and so forth, I am not opposed. But it's also not in my mind, which is weird. So it's like, it's something that I want so much, but it's something that it's like probably in the bottom of my mind, which is crazy. So that was Jeremy's question. What is your question?
Okay, so all of these books around us, I know you're an avid reader. You don't sleep very much. You are such a workaholic. How do you find balance in the midst of all of your businesses? Like, how do you find your balance in it all?
I had somebody ask me a question about consistency, and she's like, it's very, very hard to be consistent, and I don't know how you do it. I was like, it's not hard if you know where you're going. So for me, it's not a task. It doesn't feel like it's some sort of job where it's like I dread every day. I feel like all the ventures that I am in, it's like what I genuinely love. It's like being with people who I genuinely love. I can be with you guys every single day of my life and not think it's a drag. Same thing with my family. Every time I go visit with them, it's only once a week. I wish it was more, but every time I'm there, I'm like, man, I could do this every day. You know? So all my day-to-day tasks, all of my ventures, it does not feel like a drag to the point where it's like, it's just as normal as brushing my teeth. That's what it feels like. Every time I'm doing this, solving a problem, putting this puzzle together, so on and so forth, negotiating this, doing that, it doesn't feel like a drag. It actually gives me purpose and fulfillment because it keeps me productive. And I feel like that's what just gives me happiness, is just being productive. After this podcast, what do I got to go do? Go to my room, get to work, because I love it. It's not like, God, I can't do this. It's like, no, everything that I'm involved in, I genuinely love. And then the fulfillment that I get out of you guys or somebody who I'm working with gives me more fulfillment. So life is a blessing. Life is beautiful because of the things that I get to do. So yeah, there is no balance. I just feel like it's as normal as brushing my teeth. That's all it is. Yeah. So my very, very last question for the both of you. If people wanted to get into the business venture, as well as being parents and being married, what's probably one of the biggest things that you would want to pass on to those people?
That it's very possible. Believe in yourself. It's going to take work. You're going to have moments of doubt, moments of fear, moments of sadness. You're going to feel all the emotions, but that's what's going to make every single bit of the journey worth it. And when you have those little eyes watching, that is everything in itself. And if you can do it with a partner who supports you, and if not, you do it by yourself. You're going to soar. You got this, but don't let fear, doubt, anything stop you.
I think if you're on the bubble, you better get a hold of this podcast and come out and speak it to existence. But no, doing it with your best friend, just make sure everything's in line before you jumped into it, right? Because if everything's not in line, your marriage, your fatherhood, your parenthood, your professional career, you don't want hiccups in there in the first year, year and a half. So just make sure that's on board. And some people aren't as fortunate as Desiree and myself, because she keeps saying I'm supportive. She's tenfold as supportive as I am. And when that happens, it's easy to wake up. It's easy to work when you're tired. It's easy to sacrifice and do those things, right? And be the Kobe and Shaq of your business. And the last, but I guess the last thing is find something you're truly passionate about. Don't ever chase profit. Money's always going to be there. Once you chase profit, people are going to see through that. And, once you're passionate, then people are going to be attracted to that.
Beautiful. Guys, are there any closing statements you'd like to give for the podcast?
We love you. I just wanted to give a shout out to my BAB boys. All of them, especially Callahan and Blake right now. Those are some of the kids that started with me. And when we talk about the future, what I'm looking forward to is they're juniors. They got 2 years, and we're speaking into existence. They're going to be the first ones that come through my program and sign college scholarships. I bet everything I own on that. These kids work so hard. But not only that, if you want to see model kids that are 16 and 17 years old, look at these kids' work ethic, but look at the families they come from. Look at how they carry themselves, grades, everything. And for all these college coaches, these kids are coming.
I love you guys to every bit of me. We are family always to this day and beyond. I love you guys with all my heart. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I cannot wait to do this again with you guys.
Thank you all for tuning in to today's episode. If you got a lot of value out of this, please do me a favor and support our channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Make sure to hit that follow button on Spotify to stay updated with our latest episodes. And if you are listening on Apple Podcast, I would greatly appreciate it if you would leave a 5-star rating, followed by with a review. Again, thank you all for the support. Stay loving, stay hungry, and stay excellent.